Smart Wales is about promoting professional renting by supporting landlords and agents for the benefit of tenants. It is a mandatory licensing and registration scheme which launched in November 2015. It requires that all landlords with properties that they rent on domestic tenancies in Wales must register those properties. Any persons involved in the letting and management of homes in Wales needs to be trained and obtain a licence.
The Neighbourhood Services team protects public health by working with private landlords to provide warm, safe and healthy homes for tenants. We ensure that houses in multiple occupation are licensed through mandatory and additional licensing schemes by inspecting and improving management standards of privately rented accommodation. Complaints about damp, mould, heating, disrepair and student housing issues are investigated by us. There are more than 50,000 privately rented houses across the three authorities, which accounts for 25% of all the private rented stock in Wales, and as such we are a key player in ensuring the mandatory registration scheme is implemented successfully.
We are heavily involved with the management of rented property insofar as we are totally embracing the landmark initiative under the Welsh Government, which is enshrined in the Housing Act Wales 2014, where it is intended that landlords and agents alike will need to register by the 23rd of November to obtain for landlords registration and for agents licensing. Rent Smart Wales offers us as a company, and certainly other companies like us, to show off our expertise and the ability of our fully qualified staff. And we are very proud to be one of the first agents, certainly in the Bridgend County area, to receive a licence to manage property under this legislation. We are, of course, very much tenant-facing, and we do want to ensure within the Code of Practice that we help and assist tenants in not only setting up their tenancy, but be with them during the journey through their tenancy and, of course, at the end of their tenancy.
As a landlord, there are a number of questions that I have to answer, which would lead me to establish whether I would need to be registered. Do I own a property in Wales that I don't live in? Do I allow someone else to live in that property as their main residence? And do they pay me money to live there? Is a property rented on an assured short hold or regulated tenancy? If a landlord answers yes to these questions, then you are a landlord and need to comply with the registration requirements in Wales. A landlord must include the address of all rental property in Wales they are the landlord for in their registration. This will be the address of all dwellings, buildings or part of a building occupied as a separate dwelling, which are subject to or marketed or offered for let under a domestic tenancy.
If a landlord fails to obtain a licence, then the enforcement powers for the varying offences can be utilised, which can result in fixed pending notices from £150 to £250, or indeed rent stopping orders, rent repayment orders and ultimately prosecution. This new legislation provides an opportunity to improve the standard and management in the private rented sector and to provide us with a better idea of the current situation whilst raising the profile of rights and responsibilities within the private rented sector.